Madeline Clark did not rise to the top by getting distracted. She was 34, the CEO of a fast-growing tech company in Chicago, and people said she had ice in her veins. It was not true. She simply kept her feelings locked away where no one could use them against her. Her day started before sunrise. She read reports while drinking black coffee. She took calls while stepping into elevators. She made choices that changed careers with a single sentence. Everyone around her learned to move quickly, speak clearly, and never waste her time. Ben Carter worked close to her, but most people barely noticed him. He was the operations lead, the man who made sure projects did not fall apart. He fixed problems before they had names. He remembered small details, like which investor hated delays and which vendor always overcharged. He carried extra chargers in his bag, kept spare pens in his pocket, and had a calm voice even when the office felt like it was on fire. Madeline liked that calm. She never said it out loud. She gave him more work instead. When Ben solved something, she nodded once and moved on to the next crisis. She treated him like a tool that always worked, not like a person with a life. Ben had not always been so quiet around her. 2 years ago, after a long night getting a pitch ready, he had walked her to her car. The streetlights had made the snow look clean and bright. Madeline had been tired, but her eyes still looked sharp. Ben had stopped near the curb and tried to speak. He had told her he cared about her, not in a casual way, in a real way that made his chest feel tight. Madeline had listened without changing her face. Then she had said, very calmly, that she respected him and needed him on her team, but she did not have space for that kind of thing. She had said the company came first. She had opened her car door, thanked him for his hard work, and driven away. Ben had stood there in the cold for a long moment. After that, he stayed professional. He did his job well. He stopped hoping for more. On Monday morning, the office buzzed with a new problem and a new chance. A major health company wanted to partner with Madeline's firm. If it worked, the deal would bring big money and huge attention. If it failed, the board would blame Madeline. Madeline called a meeting at 9. The room filled fast. People brought laptops and anxiety. Ben sat near the end of the table, already knowing what she would ask for. Madeline walked in, set her phone down, and looked at the group. "We need a public campaign and a charity event," she said. "We need it clean and smart, no mistakes." A man from marketing spoke up. "We can plan it, but we need outside help. Someone who does large events." Madeline's jaw tightened. She hated relying on outsiders, but she hated bad work more. "Bring me options today," she said. By lunch, Ben had a list, placed it on her desk with notes, costs, and timelines. Madeline did not look up. "Pick the best one," she said. Ben paused. "Do you want to interview them first?" Madeline finally lifted her eyes. "Ben, I do not have time. Just handle it." He nodded once. Okay, that afternoon, Ben met Lily Brooks in a glass conference room on the 20th floor. Lily was an event strategist with a bright smile and clear eyes. She wore a simple blazer and carried a folder, not to impress anyone, but because she was prepared. "Thanks for meeting me," Lily said. "I read about your company. You move fast." "We have to," Ben replied. Lily glanced at his notes. "You're the person who keeps the wheels on." Ben almost laughed, but it came out as a small breath, something like that. Lily leaned forward. "Tell me what you need and tell me what you are worried about. The real worries." Ben hesitated. People did not usually ask him that. They asked for schedules, not feelings. "Madeline wants perfection," he said carefully, "and the board will be watching." Lily nodded, as if she understood. "Then we build it so strong that even stress cannot break it." Ben found himself relaxing just a little. Lily did not talk down to him. She did not treat him like a messenger. She spoke to him like a partner. Later that evening, Madeline stepped out of a meeting and walked past the conference room. Through the glass, she saw Ben and Lily still talking. Lily was smiling. Ben was listening in a way Madeline had not seen in a long time. Madeline stopped for half a second. Ben did not look up. He did not sense her there like he used to. He was focused on someone else. Madeline felt a strange pinch in her chest, quick and sharp. She told herself it was nothing. She turned away and kept walking, heels clicking down the hall, already chasing the next task. Ben Carter did not expect to like working with Lily Brooks. He told himself she was only here for a contract, only here to help the company look good for a few weeks. But after 3 days, he noticed something he could not ignore. Lily did not treat people like tools. She greeted the receptionist by name. She thanked the security guard for holding the door. She asked the interns what they were studying and listened to the answer. Ben had spent years watching people bend around Madeline Clark's speed and pressure. Most of them learned to hide their needs. Lily did not hide. She worked hard, but she also spoke like a real person, not like a robot. On Thursday morning, Ben walked into the office with his usual routine. He checked vendor emails, reviewed the first draft of the charity plan, and built a timeline that left no empty space. When he reached the kitchen for coffee, Lily was already there, pouring hot water into a cup. "You look like you have not slept," Lily said. Ben shrugged. "Sleep enough." Lily glanced at his face again. "That is not an answer." "How long has it been since you had a day off?" Ben leaned against the counter. "I do not remember." Lily nodded once like she believed him. "That is a problem." Ben gave a small smile. "Are you my manager now?" "No," Lily said. "Just a person who can see you are carrying too much." The words landed in a strange way. Ben was used to being praised for working hard. He was not used to someone worrying about him. They spent the morning reviewing ideas for the event. The plan was big. A charity gala with a clear mission, a strong message, and guests who could bring attention to the partnership. Lily wanted it to feel honest, not just shiny. She asked for stories from the company's past, moments that showed why the work mattered. Ben showed her an old photo from the early days, when Madeline worked out of a cramped space and the team shared one printer. Lily studied the photo for a long time. "She built all this," Lily said. "She did," Ben replied. His voice stayed even, but the old pride was still there. Lily looked at him. "And you helped her build it?" Ben did not answer. He turned back to his laptop. Silence was easier than the truth. Across the hall, Madeline sat in her office, with her door half open. She was on a call with the board. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were hard. When the call ended, she opened a report and tried to focus. But her mind kept moving back to the sight of Ben and Lily in the conference room. Heads close, speaking like they were in their own world. Madeline told herself it was normal. Ben had to coordinate with Lily. That was the point. Still, she found herself watching the hallway more than the numbers on the page. At noon, Madeline sent Ben a short message asking him to come to her office. Ben arrived within 5 minutes, as he always did. Madeline did not look up right away. "How is the event plan going?" "It is moving," Ben said. "Lily is organized. She has good contacts." Madeline tapped her pen once. "Good, I want to see a full budget by tomorrow." Ben nodded. "We will have it." Madeline looked up then. Ben's face was calm, but something was different. He did not seem tense, not like before. He was steady, like he had found a new rhythm. Madeline stared at him for a second longer than needed. "Anything else?" Ben hesitated. "I will need you to approve the venue choice." Lily narrowed it to 2 options. Madeline leaned back. "Send it to me. I will decide tonight." Ben turned to leave. Madeline spoke again, without thinking. "Ben." He stopped and faced her. Madeline's throat tightened. She had no clear reason to call him back. She wanted to ask if he was okay. She wanted to ask why he looked lighter. She wanted to ask why that bothered her. Instead, she said, "Make sure this event is flawless." Ben's expression did not change. "I always do." He walked out. Madeline watched the door after it closed. The office felt too quiet. That evening, Lily and Ben visited 2 venues. The first was a hotel ballroom with polished floors and strong lighting. The staff spoke fast and promised anything. Lily did not like it. "They will say yes to everything and fail on half of it," she said as they left. The second venue was an old museum space with tall windows and clean lines. It had history and warmth. The manager spoke carefully and explained limits without excuses. Lily turned to Ben as they walked through the main hall. "This place feels real." Ben looked up at the windows. The city lights outside looked like a calm sea. "Madeline will like the control," he said. Lily smiled. "And you will like the lack of chaos." Ben let out a short laugh. "True. They stood near a display case, reading a plaque about the building's past. Lily leaned closer to see the small text. Ben leaned in too. For a moment, their shoulders nearly touched. Ben did not move away. Lily looked at him. "You're different when you are not at the office." Ben raised an eyebrow. "How?" "You breathe," Lily said, "like you were allowed to exist." Ben felt his chest tighten. He looked away. "Work is work." Lily's voice stayed gentle but firm. "Work is not supposed to erase you." Ben did not answer, but her words stayed with him all the way back. The next morning, Madeline arrived early and walked past the conference room. Through the glass, she saw Ben and Lily again. This time Lily was showing him a layout on her tablet. Ben was smiling, a real smile that lifted his whole face. Madeline stopped. Her fingers curled around the edge of the folder she carried. She felt heat rise in her throat, like anger mixed with something else. She pushed the feeling down and kept walking. But it followed her into her office. That night, Madeline sat alone at home. The city outside her windows looked cold and distant. She opened her laptop and searched Ben's employee profile, not for his performance notes, not for his work history, but for anything that felt personal. She saw his start date, his job titles, and his emergency contact. She realized she did not know what he did on weekends. She did not know what music he liked. She did not know who he called when he was tired. Madeline closed the laptop slowly. She told herself she was being foolish. Still, she could not stop seeing Ben's smile in the conference room, aimed at someone who was not her. The museum space looked nothing like the office. Warm lights washed the walls. Clean white tables filled the hall. A small stage stood near the tall windows, and the city skyline glowed behind it. Madeline Clark arrived with her usual control. She wore a dark dress, simple and sharp. Her hair was neat, her face calm. She greeted donors and board members with the same steady smile. She spoke in clear lines, like every word had a purpose. People watched her closely. Some admired her. Some waited for her to slip. Madeline did not slip. Ben Carter moved through the room with a headset and a clipboard. He checked the catering table, the sound system, the entrance list, and the timing of speeches. Then the first speech began. The crowd moved toward the stage. Music softened, and the room settled. Then she touched his arm and pulled him gently toward the crowd, like she was bringing him back into the moment. Ben went with her without hesitation. Madeline saw it all from across the room. Her chest tightened so fast that she had to inhale slowly. The feeling was sharp, like someone had taken something from her. She wanted to tell herself she did not care. She wanted to blame stress. For a look, for a word, for anything that said I mattered. I got tired of it. But I chose to stop hoping for something you never offered. Madeline forced herself to keep her face calm. Is this because of Lily? Ben's eyes narrowed slightly. It is because of me. Lily just reminded me what it feels like to be treated like a person. Madeline felt the words hit hard. She wanted to argue, but she knew it would sound empty. Ben adjusted his headset. We need to get back. The schedule is tight. Madeline stepped aside. Ben walked past her, polite as always, and returned to the light and noise. Madeline stayed in the hallway for a moment, alone in the quiet. She had a full room of power and praise waiting for her, yet she felt like she was standing outside her own life, watching it through glass. The morning after the gala, the company looked normal again. The lights were bright. The halls smelled like coffee. People talked about donations, press coverage, and the new partnership. Madeline Clark should have felt proud. The event had been a success. The board had smiled for the cameras. But Madeline felt restless. Ben Carter's words kept replaying in her mind. You needed my work, not me. She tried to bury it under meetings. It did not work. At 10, she called Ben to her office. He arrived with a folder in his calm face. He stood the way he always did, ready to solve a problem. Madeline looked at the folder and then at him. Sit, she said. Ben paused. He rarely sat in her office unless it was a long planning talk. He sat anyway. Madeline placed her hands flat on the desk to keep them steady. I owe you an apology, she said. Ben blinked once. For what? Madeline's voice stayed even, but her eyes were direct. For ignoring you. For treating you like you were only useful. For not seeing what you were carrying. Ben did not answer right away, looked at her like he was checking if this was real. Madeline continued, I cannot change the past, but I can admit I was wrong. Ben's jaw tightened a little. Why now? Madeline swallowed. Because I saw it. Saw what I did not want to see. I saw that you can walk away, and it would be my fault. Ben's gaze dropped to the desk. I did not want to walk away, he said quietly. I just stopped waiting. Madeline nodded. Understand. She did not. Fully. Not yet. But she tried. Instead of keeping him in the room with more work, she let him go. Thank you for coming, she said. That is all. Ben left. Madeline sat alone, feeling the strange weight of her own words. She had said sorry before in business. It was usually a tool. This time it felt like a risk. Over the next week, Madeline changed small things. She asked Ben how his day was, and she waited for the answer. She sent fewer late-night messages. When she needed something, she asked instead of ordering. People noticed, but nobody said anything. Ben noticed too. He stayed polite. He did his job. But he did not rush toward her like before. He kept space between them. like he had learned a lesson and would not unlearn it fast. Lily Brooks stayed focused on closing out the campaign. Madeline's eyes lifted. She could push blame onto Ben's team and save herself. It would be easy. It would also destroy the trust she was trying to rebuild. Madeline closed the report and set it down. "No," she said. Glenn frowned. "No." Madeline sat straighter. "If anyone is responsible, it is me. I approve the plan. I will answer questions. I will not sacrifice my people to protect my image." The room went quiet. Glenn's mouth tightened. Madeline held his stare. "I am making a choice." After the meeting, Ben found out what happened. He did not hear it from Madeline. He heard it from a director who was surprised by her stand. Two weeks after the board meeting, Ben Carter sat at his desk and stared at an email he had opened 5 times. A partner firm in New York had offered him a senior role, better pay, more authority, fresh start where his name would not be tied to one person's shadow. He had earned it. He also knew what it meant. If he accepted, his life would change fast. Lily Brooks was the first person he told. They stood outside the building near the curb, where the wind came off the lake and cut through coats. "That is big," Lily said. Ben nodded. "I do not know what to do." Lily looked at him with steady eyes. "Do not choose based on guilt. Choose based on the life you want. You spent too long being the extra person in your own story." Ben let out a slow breath. "And you?" Lily's mouth tightened for a second, then relaxed. "I will be fine, like you, Ben. But I will not ask you to stay for me. If you stay, it should be because you want your life here." Ben thanked her. He meant it. He signed the offer the next morning. News moved through the company quickly. By lunch, people were saying goodbye in low voices, asking where he was going, telling him he deserved it. Ben kept his face calm and answered with short lines. He did not want attention. He wanted closure. Madeline Clark heard about it late that afternoon. Not from Ben, from her assistant, who placed the resignation letter on her desk with a careful look. Madeline read it once, then she read it again. The words did not change, but the room felt different, like the air had been taken out. She could have called Ben into her office and tried to stop him with a title. She could have offered more money, a new team, anything that sounded like power. She knew those moves. She had used them before. But Ben had told her to meet him where he was. If she treated him like an asset, she would lose him for good. Madeline stood up, grabbed her coat, and walked out of the office without another meeting. She drove across the city to a small restaurant Ben liked, a quiet place he once mentioned in passing. She had written it down days ago, surprised at herself for caring enough to remember. Ben was there, sitting alone at a corner table with a notebook. He looked up when she entered. His face showed surprise, then caution. Madeline walked to the table. "Can I sit?" Ben hesitated, then nodded. "Sure." Madeline sat with her hands folded. For once she did not start with business. Her voice was low and clear. "I heard you were leaving." Ben held her gaze. "Yes, I accepted the job." Madeline nodded once. "You should. You earned it." Ben's expression changed, like he expected her to fight. "You are not going to try to stop me." Madeline shook her head. A silence sat between them. The restaurant noise filled the gaps, forks and quiet voices. Madeline's heart beat hard, but her face stayed steady. "I came here for one reason," she said. "To tell you the truth without using pressure." Ben did not speak. Madeline continued. "I ignored you for a long time. It's not because you did not matter, but because feelings made me feel weak. I thought if I needed someone, I would lose control. So I acted like I did not need anyone." Ben's jaw tightened. Madeline's eyes stayed on his. "That was wrong. And I am sorry." Ben looked down at his hands. "Sorry does not fix yours." "I know," Madeline said. "I am not asking you to erase it." She took a breath. "I love you, Ben. I did not say it when it counted. I am saying it now because you deserve the truth, because I cannot keep hiding behind work." Ben's shoulders rose and fell once, like he was holding something heavy. "You are late," he said. Madeline nodded. "Yes, I am." Ben looked back up. "What do you want from me?" Madeline answered right away. "Nothing that traps you. If you go, I will respect it. If you never come back, I will live with that. But if you want to try, I will meet you as Madeline, not as your boss." Ben watched her for a long time. His eyes looked tired, but not cold. "I cannot be invisible again," he said. "You will not be," Madeline replied. "Not if I have any say." Ben leaned back, thinking. Then he spoke. "I am still going to New York." Madeline's throat tightened, but she nodded. "Okay," Ben added, "but I am not closing the door. We can try if we do it right. Clear plans, honest talks. No games." Madeline's eyes softened, but her voice stayed steady. "Ow." "Yes, we do it right." A few days later, the office held a small farewell gathering for Ben. Lily stood near the back, smiling with pride and a hint of sadness. When Ben thanked her, she told him to be brave and stay true to himself. On Ben's last day, Madeline did not give him a speech in front of everyone. She waited until the hall was empty. Then she walked with him to the elevator. When the doors opened, Ben stepped in. Madeline stepped in too. Ben looked at her, surprised. Madeline said, "I am not letting you walk into your new life alone." The elevator doors closed. And for the first time in years, Ben believed her.